Hi, this is Colorful Foresight, where we intuitively connect from within. And it's woo woo time, where we connect our woo woo into our mundane living. Hi, this is Silvia, Colorful Foresight, and I got two guests today. We have Aley from Heart and Soul Connected and Shari from Voices of the Swamp. So this is a reading I had from 2020 with, I have a spiritual mentor, and she was talking about stringing it out. So I'm going to read it, and then you're going to hear it however it applied to you. Okay. So they were challenging me. Here's the way it worked. It often happens when two gifted people are working together. So in this case, we got three, and then we got you guys watching. Because they land information in a ball of energy, it kind of looks like a ball of yarn. So think a ball of yarn. Here's the visual. Take a ball of yarn, and our job is to string it out. String it out, okay? Now, here's what happens. Sometimes we get the first answer, the first part of the information, and we stop right there. So you have this ball, and you string it out, but we heard it here, and we stopped there. Meanwhile, we needed to string it out. But information coming in a ball like that, and if you string it out, you hit the second part. And if you stick with it, the third part. Sometimes what happens, our ego getting away if we get information and we stop. But that's how you should string it out. We continue to come apart and string it out further, the third string of information. So you keep stringing it out, otherwise the ball. Now we have even more information to add to the second, to the first part of the strand, then, the third and so on. So the more we string the information out, the more we unravel that ball. Now, I know you've had that experience, and then you go, whoosh. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, what just happened? Because of the overwhelm of this ball of information, but it takes practice. It takes time to continue to string them out. Okay, so what happened is we are not getting different information. You just think we are. What we are getting is different information of the string. Think of like all the people we follow, and they're all telling different things. It's just they're getting different parts of the string. I'm going to give you an example. I work with other gifted people. Bob and I were working with a client together, and this client had a bunch of changes happening in her life. Bob got that she was going to live in a place with her dad. The mentor that talking to me, she got that she was going to end up in Colorado. We are working with the same client. We're getting two different, what it seems like, pieces of information, but it's the same. So what ends up happening with that client her dad said, come here and I'll build a house there and you could just live there. I'll take care of everything. She also got a call from a friend she hadn't talked to in 5 years, begging to come to Colorado. Her friend would pay for it, can live with her house. Her friend needed help with her daughter, who is the same age as her client daughter. Well, both of those things happened simultaneously. The difference is the client showed Colorado instead with her father. So it was like a choice, but it thought with a different information. So Bob wasn't wrong with the information she got, and I was not wrong with the information I got. We just landed at a different level of the string. The information is always accurate. This is what I need to help you to understand so you can stop fighting with spirit guide energetically. So that means we get in the way of hearing it fully sometimes. So when we, it's like a wrestling match energetically. So basically, she's saying that she tended to be more accurate because she had a decade of practice. The only difference between us two. So that is only difference between us two is the time frame of practice and stringing out the information. So you're getting the first part, or the second part, or the third part. I'll get the 15th part. So, just kind of go with like, what do you think? First of all, we're going to go with, what do you think when you hear that? Aley, and then we'll go with Shari. What comes to your mind?
The first thing I thought of was timeline changes and alternative choice and or alternative universe. But I really like that idea. And we talked about it, I think, before, Silvia, on another show where you said this person said this and this person said that, and one of them looked like they were wrong, but they weren't.
Show the video. I'm going to show the video right now.
Okay.
Let's get started. This is Colorful Foresight, where we truly connect from within. Who was accurate? Which psychic was accurate when it came to predicting when the first vaccination came out in 2020? Because we have Linda G, we have Mel Dore, and then we have Sterling. And they all talked about it with Linda G. I've been following them for a few years. I'll put in the description below of their YouTube channel. And they're fairly accurate. I would say at least 80%. And that's a lot. So the timeline. Who is the most accurate? I could say it's either Linda G or all. And I'll tell you why. Linda G, I wish I could find the original video, but I can't. So you have to trust me in good faith. Linda G said that it was going to be sometime in the winter of 2021. Mel Dore said that it was going to be around April of 2021. And Sterling said August of 21. So who's accurate? It's all about how people read the timeline. And sometimes they all could be right. It depends. Well, I say Linda G because it was winter of 2021 when it first was available for certain state and for people over 75. However, it got really quick to April, so that means he was accurate too, where the majority start getting the vaccination, especially people 60, 50, 40 years old and below. And then the majority was really, when it's available in here all over in the U.S. and even around the world, it started to get in August of 2021. So that's how they all could be accurate, even though they all set a different timeline. So either if you say it was Linda G, because she did say winter of 2021, or you could say all, but with a different. I said different timeline, but it's the same timeline. It's just that the questioning wasn't specific. I didn't say when first get the vaccination. So it's all about the question. Right. I just said when the vaccination. So they answer that. It's just depending on the situation, Aley.
Well, I just, I really feel that way that we all, no psychic is 100% accurate anyway. And, so, if you kind of take a little from here and a little from there and string it out, I love the idea of stringing it out, that we all can maybe come up with a tidbit of what's going to happen, but not everybody gets the entire thing. That's kind of what I think.
No, that is, I pretty much agree with Aley and what you were saying when you were reading that. I mean, it's like 7 blindfolded people put in a room with an elephant, and they're all at different parts of the elephant, and they all reach out and they touch the same thing, but they all describe something different because they only see the little part that they're being shown. Right. I think with psychics, it's pretty much the same way. A lot of times we can all get the same generalized message, but depending on our abilities and how strong or new or old that they are, and depending on what our guides show us that they feel is the right amount for us to handle that information, will depend on us getting similar but yet different information.
Do you see yourself sometime maybe you're stopping here? Could you hear something and, and you're like, oh my God, and you don't allow the rest to finish?
Yes.
Or it's
I think we all do that. Yeah, I do. I mean, we hear what we would like to hear. We'd like to end it there. Right? It's like you go to the doctor and he says, gee, you're doing really well. okay, thank you. But no, you gave me enough information,
Yeah. That doesn't make what's wrong go away.
That's right. It doesn't.
I mean, it's just like when you can be doing a reading or be doing a, a one man show answering questions that people maybe sent you, and you're only going to get the information that you're being given.
That's right.
But you bring another intuitive into the mix, and suddenly you're picking up clues from them, they're picking up clues from you, and you start seeing some of the same things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, when it came to back in November, you had thousands of us that were all getting the same message, seeing the same thing, to only had a complete flip flop by the next day. And a lot of us were very upset, felt sucker punched because it was like, what the hell? I mean, and the people that got angry with us because, well, you said da 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 da. It's like, well, I can only tell you what I got in that moment, and it does change moment to moment because it's energy.
That, like, now we're talking about maybe different timeline shift or whatever, but here's something where I want to talk about where it's the same line. I'm wondering, and we won't know until later, now that we're in talking about politics, I'm wondering if we thought, first of all, it could totally change. That's one option, and we have to go somewhere else. That's something else. But let's say we're sticking with the stringing. We saw her win. But some theories I've heard that maybe we needed some, like let's say we saw level 15, the end, where Kamala Harris is the president. But a lot of us went up to a certain level. First of all, one, I feel like we're not told information for a reason. So we have to add all those other factors. But since we're talking about the stringing, but let's just say maybe I saw this, but they didn't show me anything in between because they told me, oh, Spirit Guide told me at string 5, oh, he gonna cheat the election and gonna look really bad. I would have stopped it without listening. The part where Linda just said that her guy said that the red hat, the people who voted for him, need to see how awful he is. So at this time frame, I'm going to think positively, guys. So I don't know what the end result is, but I'm going to go with the positive aspect because it's my channel. We're going to make it positive. So people,
there you go.
Getting pissed off, on Bluesky in the beginning, felt like nobody was doing anything. I'm like, oh my God, nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
We're hearing theories about that, the president and Kamala knows about it, but they have plans and yada, yada, yada. Their world intel and NATO getting involved. We're not seeing it, right? So, but what if I were told right here, but he's going to win? I don't think I would have listened. I would have argued, remember, argued and whatever. So the reader could get involved. Another reason could be also, like I said, we're not shown for reason. It could be a positive thing where there are people who are not for the light listening into psychics, and maybe psychics are not told for that reason. That they're told that she's gonna win, and they're like, no, she's not gonna win because we're gonna cheat. They can't say, well, you know what, he's gonna win, and then eventually he's gonna lose because XYZ. I don't know, but those are example of like my ego got in the way. If I were told that, but my mentor told me that she did see that he was gonna win, but she was hoping that, but maybe she didn't see the whole string. She was hoping.
Right.
So and so said that give it time. We want to know the details, but he eventually that the former guy is going to get decertified, and Harris going to win. Now, some of my favorite psychic now saying, well, I'm seeing less of that. I'm seeing, but he may stay for 2 years. So honestly, right now, listening to all these people. Really confusing. And what I'm doing is to nurture myself is I go in a moment. If I see the videos on YouTube, I'll listen, but I'm starting to not listen. And these are the people, some of them are listening for years. But right now we're in a really interesting stream or timeline shift or something. So what do you want to add to that?
So I had to back off. Excuse me. I had to back off really far right before the 20th. I just had to say I can't immerse myself in this anymore because it's upsetting.
Yeah.
And then this week I went through all the stages of grief, every single one of them. I just had a really, and I don't feel great, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
But I just have to wait and see. That's all. And it isn't that I think everybody was wrong or everybody was right, or I just have to step away from it. It's kind of like when you're waiting, and we tell people when we do readings, and they say, well, how long is it going to take? Well, I'm going to ask the same question over and over and over again. And we have to say, you need to let it go. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And what do you, Shari? What comes to mind? Could you do a lot
Yeah.
of
No, I mean, Aley's right. It was, like I said, for a lot of us, it was like a sucker punch. It was like, what the hell? Why were you so definitive in giving me this message? And then this happened. The other thing happened.
Yep.
And some of the strongest messages I started getting then was, you were told what you needed to hear in the moment you needed to hear it. And you weren't ready to hear the rest of it.
You mean like the string?
Maybe.
Kind of like a string, it was like they showed me in, and then they showed me this in, but they didn't show me what was in between.
Right.
And all the crap we were going to have to go through to get from this end to this end. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know people today that even as they try to read and get a little more information, they're flat being told by their guides, we can't give you that information, because if you know it and you speak it out loud to tell others, then it's going to change the outcome. Okay.
And that's honoring sacred information.
Right. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know how many people saw the Avengers Endgame, the very last movie that they all did. But the last two, there was Endgame 1, Endgame 2. At one point, one of the characters is asking the other character, what do you see? And the other character is like, I looked at 14 million and something possible results. And Iron Man's like, how many did we win? Doctor Strange said 1. So it's like, when the next movie comes along and it's at the very end and they're in the big battle and everything, all hell is breaking loose, and they're fighting the bad guys. And there comes a point where there's like a pause, and Iron Man looks at Doctor Strange and he just lifts one finger. Like, this is the moment that can make it a win or another loss.
Ooh, I got chills.
But he couldn't tell him when it was going to happen. He couldn't tell him how it was going to happen, even though he had already experienced it and seen it, because Doctor Strange can move through time. And it was in that moment that the character Iron Man had to make a decision. Am I going to do this or do that? He didn't know which decision was the winning decision and which decision was the losing decision. But he had to make a choice. And he made it. And of course, because it's a movie and the good guys always win in the end, he made the right choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's like when we started talking about it, that scene just very clearly came into my head of just Doctor Strange holding up one finger to Iron Man. No words were spoken, nothing was asked or answered. Just this pause in action. Iron Man looks at him and Doctor Strange just does this.
Mhm.
And it's like he was telling him, okay, now it's up to you. And I think that's what Spirit has done with all of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Is they've
No
held
one's
up one
coming.
finger
Yeah.
and they said, okay, now it's up to you. And we have to try to determine what's the correct move and what's the incorrect move so that we can help facilitate what's best for us as a whole, as a society. Because it's
Right.
not just our country. This is affecting globally
Yes.
every
Yeah.
country in the world.
Yeah,
We
and
are
the
on the
worldwide issue.
verge at this moment right now today. We are this far away from World War III.
Yeah.
This man has literally pissed off every ally we have to where their leadership are now getting in his face and saying, back off or you're going to regret it.
One
I
thing I
have to
like.
wonder. Go
One
ahead.
thing I like, the former guy talking about getting rid of all the generals, and the generals, I don't have it, but they said that, oh no, you can't get rid of us that quickly. A president, because they already have all these safeguards for every other president. They're a 30-day safeguard. They're a 30-day thing that a president had to do before they could do that. So I feel like there's a lot of guardrail that they planted ahead of time, and that was always there. So that gives me a little hope. What you were saying, Aley? I'm sorry.
Well, it's exactly as Shari was saying this. This is exactly what I've been hearing. No one is coming to save us. We have to save ourselves.
That's why I
That's
like
right.
Bluesky.
Yeah. And you know, we're not used to that. We're like, well, fix it. Why isn't somebody fixing this? What? You know, no, we have to fix it. We have to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows where
It's
that's going
time for us
take
to put on our big boy pants
Yeah.
and do the adult thing and
Yeah.
fix our own problems.
I still see peace, so